Pisces, hi, my lovely Pisces. This is going to be a self-love reading. These are general readings. If it doesn't resonate with you this week, come back next week. Maybe I can help you then. These are self-love readings designed for spirit to showcase areas where we might be letting ourselves down, or areas we can be more authentic with ourselves. Part of self-love is self-acceptance, and it's hard to accept parts of ourselves that we have yet to acknowledge. I do a 6-card spread, Pisces, and then the 7th card I do is from Spirit. Spirit message, direct from source. Oh, look at that. There we are. Nice, so cute. Interesting. The next card was Justice. Ooh, Pisces. We can get started. In this first position, it's going to be how you feel or where you are, and that's when you use the verb estar. Sorry. In the second position, it's going to be something Spirit wants you to prioritize, make a big deal about. In this third position, it's going to be something that we might have put on the back burner. Or, we said, we'll deal with it later. And then Spirit's like, no, now, do it now. In the fourth position is something that Spirit wants us to acknowledge, to be more authentic with ourselves. We're all multifaceted. Well, apparently we say faceted now. That's really fun. We're all multifaceted. There's more aspects to ourselves than we can think of probably most of the time. And Spirit just says, integrate this more with who you are. And you'll be happier because you will be more of who you are. In the fifth position, Spirit says, this is something they want you to let go of. It's probably not good for you. It doesn't serve your higher self anymore. In the sixth position, it's going to be something that Spirit wants you to acknowledge. This could definitely be in your environment, but maybe you're not aware of it, or maybe you just didn't know it was for you. And the 7th card is Spirit message. Let's get started. Pisces. Oh. We might be feeling a sense of disappointment. It's important to focus, though, Pisces, on 2 things. 1, the cups that are still there, okay? And 2, our reflection. The cups are important to note because you never want to think that you have less than you do. Even if you don't have much, Pisces, I think it's really important, and I don't talk about this enough, to have an attitude of gratitude. Yeah, even if we don't have much, okay? Those 2 cups there, yes, she did lose 3. I imagine that having a huge setback like that would suck, right? You had a lot of things. You had everything that you needed. You had 5 cups. And then something bad happens. It might have been your fault, and now you only have the 2 cups. It's totally logical and valid to feel a sense of disappointment. But the thing is, Pisces, look at our reflection here. She doesn't have a face like none of these characters do. But you can tell in her body language, I love these cards. You can tell in her body language that she's dejected, She feels disappointment, she's sad, there's sorrow there. And the unfortunate thing is that that's her reflection. That's what she sees. Pisces, I know that we have a really hard time sometimes with reality. That was one of our first readings, right? It was like, are we seeing things the way that we are? Myself, I know that I'm really bad about that, because my brain just creates so many scenarios of how things could be that it's hard for me to live in what's actually happening. Her right here, she is seeing just a reflection of her disappointment, which means that all she can see is her disappointment, which means that all she's going to do or be able to feel is that disappointment. She needs to acknowledge those 2 cups that she has, have more of an attitude of gratitude about that, and then, move away from that reflection. I believe that an attitude of gratitude would help her feel less disappointed, and that would produce a better reflection. But if she can't on her own, or if it's taking a long time, she should move away from that reflection. Crap. Universe wants you to prioritize the sense of worry, Pisces. The 5 of Pentacles. Traditionally, this is like being left out in the cold, but we see that they're not out in the cold, and we see that they're not really alone. And I wouldn't even necessarily indicate this is like the connection to the church. This 5 of Pentacles. What I would think when I see this worry is prioritizing worry. What does that mean? I would think that you would need to acknowledge it, if there is a strong sense of worry about a situation, or this sense of disappointment is bringing with it worry, but maybe we're not dealing with it. The universe could be saying that, but I would think that that would come up in this position of like something to acknowledge. But let's keep going. Doesn't look good. Wow, Pisces, what are you up to? What are you up to? Because in this position that the universe is saying, you know, maybe you thought that you would deal with it later. Universe is saying you need to deal with this now. There's this sense of devil energy. I don't do relationship readings, but because there are other people in our environment all the time, it's important to acknowledge that this might be an unhealthy relationship, Pisces. Yeah, okay, these two people are trapped in the devil's like web, but they are willingly keeping themselves trapped. Sometimes bitterness and resentment can hold us in a position or hold us in a space where we would have left, but because of our past trauma, because of the things we've been through, it feels good for us to see others suffer too. So if we know we're suffering, we kind of want other people to suffer. And because of that, we just don't let go. And we just keep them stuck. We keep ourselves stuck. Universe is saying, if there's something that is in your life that you need to deal with, we should deal with these worries. I think that's what they're saying. You have a sense of disappointment and worry. And universe is saying you need to acknowledge that worry and you need to prioritize dealing with that worry. But again, I get this sense that, you know, we're just not looking at the situation the right way. And if we're in this devil energy, then it's entirely possible that we are not seeing the source of the problem. What's the source of the problem here? Is it the devil? Is it? Because if you look at the picture, he is completely separate from those two. The source of the problem is ourselves. We are keeping ourselves trapped. This is like the Eight of Swords energy. Universe is saying you need to acknowledge the Aeon, the judgment, your higher self, this higher calling. Pisces, what are you being called to? It does say judgment, but I don't really receive that with this. I think that because we're in this devil energy, because if you know that you're in this devil energy, that the only thing that you could possibly do is try to move away from that. And so I don't believe that it's a judgment call that's leaving you there. I believe that this is your higher self calling you to move away. And that means changing habits. I talk about this all the time. Self-love is redirecting those habits. We've either learned throughout life in order to survive that we had to give and give, or that we just had to block ourselves off from receiving from other people. And now we need to redirect those habits so that we can give and receive. The problem with these two would never give each other or receive from each other. But for whatever the reason, they can't let each other go. I've talked about before this cups analogy. I grew up, going to Christian churches, and I've heard this analogy many, many times, and I don't really know, but I also have heard it with a battery, so you can use either or, whichever resonates to you better. The way that I heard it is that we all have a cup. We all have a cup. Yes, mine says biscuits. We all have a cup, and the cup is what we hold our emotions in. At the end of the day, your partner comes home from work, and you were at work, you both had a stressful day, and you come home and you say, my day was so stressful, honey. How was yours? And you pour a little bit of your cup into their cup, emotions, and they say, baby, my day was so stressful. Let's go put on some Netflix, I'll rub your booty, and we can talk about it. And then he pours back into your cup, or vice versa. She, whatever. It doesn't matter. Gender's not important. The importance is the cups, okay? Because if you're in a relationship with somebody and your cups are usually very equal, it's not always going to be a relationship. Can't be like give and take 50-50 every single day, every second. It just can't. A relationship, one would really survive, is one where, each person takes turns picking up the emotional support. On and off, because that's how relationships work, up and down. So we both have a cup. You pour into my cup, I pour into your cup. They stay equally full, and that way we both get to enjoy what's in our cups in our relationship. But say I come home at the end of my day and I'm like, oh my God, baby, my day was so freaking stressful. How was your day? And you're just like, my day, Rashid, why are you talking to me? Even the 20 minutes before I get home, why isn't there dinner on the table? Okie dokie. Well, I poured a little bit into you, and then you took my whole cup and threw it on the floor. How are we going to have a healthy relationship? These two people would not be filling each other's cups. And so in this way, it is very toxic. And that could produce a lot of worry. Are you worried about a toxic relationship? Are you disappointed about a toxic relationship that made you worried? Universe is calling you to think more strongly about that and to let go of this idea that we can provide strength. Pisces, it seems like we're defending something here. And the universe is saying that that's what you need to let go of. This warrior here, I just got him in another reading in a different position, and this was like a very different feeling that I got. Pisces, it seems like you might be feeling like you have to defend something, and you shouldn't. The universe is saying let go of that feeling that you have to defend this. But be brave. If there is one thing that a Pisces is, besides persistent, it's brave. I never met no shy or like, scaredy cat Pisces. Never. And this is valor, okay? It's interesting here because we have the wands, right? So the universe is saying you need to let go of this 9 of wands. You standing there in this defensive position, defending the thing behind you, which leads me to believe that it could be this very negative relationship. You are on guard defending that. But universe says you need to be fighting against something. Don't fight for it, fight against it. This is you standing your ground against these other wands. This is valor and bravery. Universe's message to you is this Princess of Cups. Universe is saying that you are interested in feelings. You are interested in something long term. We have the turtle here, and that represents the longevity. And then we have the dolphin that represents intelligence, but he's in the water, so it's emotional intelligence, emotional, pure intelligence with the white lotus here. And she's the messenger. She's bringing some sort of curiosity about emotional intelligence and long-term commitments. That's basically what the card is, but it's just a curiosity. Pisces, we're gonna have to clarify because I see a lot of negative, and we always want to get what we can positive out of the message, right? I just had this great reading for Aquarius. Pisces, what are we gonna do with us, right? What are we gonna do with us? There's disappointment and worry over a toxic relationship. The universe is saying, follow your sense of judgment. Follow your highest calling. This disappointment, it's a death. Usually I would think that this is pretty good, but there's a death here. Oh, I'm sorry. Usually I think of the death card as like a good thing because death is like almost always followed by rebirth. Winter is almost always followed by spring, right? Almost always. Yeah, so you're going to have to let go of this. Whatever it is that you're too heavily focused on that's not working out, we're going to have to let go of it because that's part of our ascension. There's this sense of worry that universe wants us to prioritize. Probably dealing with the worry. Not you need to sit down and worry about things, but like dealing with that sense of worry. Dealing with that sense of worry is going to lead to joy, which obviously would make sense, but that doesn't really indicate how to deal with that sense of worry. This is actually interesting to me because I tend to worry a lot. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely in my head about a lot of things. I tend to stay up late at night, and if I could stop worrying, I'd probably sleep better and then be full of joy. But how do you stop worrying? Well, you have to give yourself emotional space from things. If something doesn't work out, then you have to just trust the fact that that's probably like what's best. And I know that's really hard because I'm also doing that. Yeah, trusting that if something isn't working out, or if something is really hard, that it's probably not meant for you, right? Things that are meant for you, they don't have to go perfectly smoothly, but like they come to you on their own, unrequested, and it's almost clear that it's for you. Forgiveness, yeah, that's also a really good way to practice not worrying. So allowing yourself the emotional space from something to say, if it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, that's also good, but also forgiveness for putting yourself in positions that, have caused this worry. Sometimes we worry about things that aren't like positive things. I know that doesn't make any sense. So like if you worry about like taking care of your family, That's probably a positive worry. But if you're kind of like, I don't know, the kind of person that gets jealous, the kind of person that gets anxious, like relationally anxious, right? That could definitely be devil energy because it's not helping the relationship. But also if you're getting jealous, then that's saying to like yourself and your partner that the relationship that you have is, you think is fragile enough that like somebody else could like ruin it. And two things, if it is fragile, you should get rid of it. But if it's not fragile, why would you continue to worry about those things? It's from trauma, from past experiences, baby. It's not just you. Don't think that you're crazy. Very few people, well, people are crazy, but few people who think they're crazy are actually crazy. We just tend to be surrounded by bad people or bad decisions or bad environments, right? So forgive yourself. I'm sorry for the positions that I put us in. I'm sorry for the way that sometimes I freak out about things. I'm sorry for the way that it seems like I don't always understand what's going on around me. Forgiveness is a really helpful tool. It really is. It can help with worry a lot. But let's see about this devil energy, because it seems that there's this sense of disappointment and worry. But whatever we're disappointed about or worried about is actually not a good thing. Universe is saying, like, you said you would deal with this, but you didn't, and now you need to. Ugh, duality. I think that what this means is that we're learning from this situation, right? We're taking the good and the bad. Like, whatever didn't work out, it sucks. No joke. It sucks. Just give me a second to really acknowledge the fact that it sucks. It sucks. But, you know, we have to have the good and the bad. Because if we don't know what sucks, or if we don't know what we don't want, how do you know what you do want in the future? Worst case scenario, you know, you meet somebody and you guys get married within like 5-6 months. And because you didn't really get the chance to know them, this person changes a lot. They change a lot. And it's not that they change, it's just that you didn't really get to know them. So now you're getting to see parts of them that you didn't get to see before. And they are vastly different. You know, if you don't gain a sense of self-worth and self-appreciation and self-love and self-respect, you just put up with those things. You will continue to just put up with all of these things that don't serve you, that don't make you feel good, that don't make you feel a part of yourself, that don't take you to, you know, your highest self. And you stay in this devil energy. Those are choices, right? Sometimes we get scared. Sometimes we think no one else will meet us. Sometimes we think that we'll not fall into love. Sometimes we think that, you know, it's our fault. Sometimes we think we deserve this. Sometimes it's just a punishment. People punish themselves all the time. Don't punish yourself, Pisces. Learn from already not doing that. Just don't do that, okay? Don't use other people to punish you, because that's even worse. You might know when your punishment is over. You might think, okay, now I've had enough, but they're not going to know that. So you should be careful. But the sense of duality. So you go through this relationship, you meet these people, they turn out to be not how they are. You can stay stuck in that energy and think, oh man, that's the life I made for myself. Or you can take the lesson that is presenting itself to you. If you've gotten into a serious commitment, like a marriage with somebody you don't want to be with, this would indicate to me that the universe is saying to you that you have a problem with how you commit. And you need to look at the behaviors and the beliefs that lead you to these habits of making wrong commitments. Staying stuck to things that aren't for you, forcing yourself to do things that don't serve you. We need to look at those beliefs. My email address is in my Instagram in the box below. Please email me. We can talk about this, because those things are like very toxic to who you are as a person. When you continuously continue to not give to yourself, you tell yourself you're not worth it, and your self-worth plummets, and you stay stuck in this devil energy. I know that even today, even with, you know, Gen Z and stuff like that, even with millennials being mostly in charge, divorce can be something that's like really frowned upon still. Or, you know, your sense of accomplishment can be like really hit. Sense of ego can be really torn, because like you wanted to work at something and it didn't succeed, and now to say that it didn't succeed, you have to say it out loud. You have to go through a court, and you have to do like a thing and to get out of this situation. And maybe it seems like a lot of work, maybe it seems really scary, maybe you're worried about judgment, but you need to get yourself out of this energy, because you can change your environment. You can change where you are and how things are for you. The sense of duality. I'm sorry, I'm going back now because I'm trying to come full circle. It could be bad. You could have married someone you didn't know. But the best thing is that life continues. Tomorrow you can wake up and tell yourself. Tomorrow you can say, I'm going to get out of this devil energy. I am sorry that I've sat here for so long. I am sorry that we got into the situation in the first place. I will make better choices. I will do better. You wake up, you file for divorce. You get a divorce. You move out. You move on with your life. And now, not only are you free, not only are you, not only are you better off. It's going to be hard, I'm not saying it won't, I'm not going to say that it won't be a struggle, and even if you make that choice for yourself, it's not going to be devastating. You're free, you're who you are, you get to change, like, you get more control in your life, but also now, unfortunately, but also fortunately, you carry with you an amazing sense of knowledge about what you will not put up with, what you don't want, and you know what those red flags look like. I mean, that's a win. Yep. And you won't go back to those behaviors in the past. You won't. Because you found self-love. Standing up for yourself. Reaffirming. Validating your feelings, your experience, what you need and what you want. Tells yourself that you're worth it. It tells yourself that you have worth. We might not think about how, like, we talk to ourselves. Like, I know we all talk about negative self-talk. Oh, you're so stupid. But, like, the negative self-talk is bad, yeah. But I did a study once on, like, self-deprecating humor and how it doesn't have any effect on whether or not you feel successful in your life. So I don't know necessarily how much negative self-talk has an impact, because I know that it, like, can reinforce those ideas that you don't have self-worth. But what I'm saying is more important than self-talk is the actions that we take towards ourselves. I was going to say, like, self-promises, but then I didn't want to say self-fulfilling promises, because that's not the idea. So when we tell ourselves, I'm going to do this thing, and then we don't do the thing, we're telling ourselves we're not worth doing the thing. Or if we tell ourselves, I'm going to take care of this thing, or I have to do this thing, and then we just don't do the thing, we're just telling ourselves that we don't have to meet our own deadlines, that our needs are not as important. If I need to go to the doctor, but my boyfriend has to go to, see his buddies, and I choose to use my car to take him to see his buddies instead of taking myself to see the doctor, I'm telling myself that him seeing his friends and his own happiness is more important than my physical well-being. Get rid of that. No, that's that negative self-talk. That's that lack of self-love and self-respect. That's what keeps you in devil energy. So the universe wants you to acknowledge your higher self, your higher calling. What is calling you out of the situation? Acknowledge that, because that's where we're going to find our ascension. Integration, okay? Like I said, integrating the sense of, like, what is good, but what is bad is also good because it teaches you. Changes. Okay. Maybe in the past, Pisces, we've been in this position where, we didn't think that we could have better, right? I think that's come up with us, or maybe that was another reading I did. Who was settling? Somebody was settling last week, and I can't remember who it was, but in the past, maybe we have stuck around in this bad energy because we're just worried that things won't get better, or we won't find better, or no one will understand us. But that's not true. I hear all the time about how, like, Pisces is the best love that you can ever have because they're the only ones who are going to love you more than they love themselves. And while that's beautiful, while anybody would be lucky to have that, we should also love ourselves as much. Maybe a little bit more. I personally love myself a lot more than a lot of people, so that's fine. I don't really mind if you do that too. But, like, we should definitely, at least, the very, 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 very least, give ourselves as much love as we give others. That's why we're here. It's a self-love reading. A lot of us have learned over time, through our lives, that we can only give and give and give, or block ourselves off and only receive, and that it's dangerous to give. Self-love, these readings are all about redirecting those habits so that we're giving and receiving. Right? We talked about the cup, I think we did. Universe doesn't want to let go of this strength, this sense of defending something. Maybe because you're angry. Maybe you know this is wrong for you, but everyone keeps throwing it in your face, and that causes you to react in some kind of ego way, where you're just like, well, you don't understand. Except that they're not inside the problem. They're steps away from the problem, and so it's actually probably easier for them to see. If you can let go of this defense, and if you can let go of this anger, it's really going to lead to this new day, like a new beginning. I don't know about you, Pisces, but I actually have been, in a position where I wasn't in an abusive relationship, and I was a very, very angry person. But that was years and years ago. I have learned so much. I've come away from all of those situations. There is very few things that I will tolerate anymore. I won't put up with. Like, if I see it, nope. A lot of that is those self-centered behaviors. It's okay to be self-focused, I think. If you're focused on work, that's okay, as long as, moderation. If you're focused on your own interests, that's okay, as long as moderation and you're open to other people's ideas, that's fine. But being selfish or self-centered is, like, really hard for me to deal with. I am not that way. I'm not. I'm super loving and I'm super giving. And if I feel like, you're disrespecting me, or like you're making choices that, like, only benefit you, we will not work out. And I know that. So as I see people, I watch them. Like, how do you interact with other people? How do you treat the homeless? That's really super important to me. And I don't really have a lot of homeless in my hometown, but I'm from, like, a very big city. And people who ignore them, or, like, are rude to them or mock them, that's not for me. Nope. I could never. So in this way, I've learned a lot of things about what I'm willing to put up with. And any relationship that I get into, the next one will be better than the last, because I'm learning and growing from them. Universe says that we are brave, and that's all we have to do. That's all we can do, is just live in this bravery. Universe is saying acknowledge it. That's going to lead us to new beginnings. We are brave. So brave, Pisces. Oh, slow but steady, okay? Change is good, change is inevitable, but change does not happen overnight. Long-lasting change comes from inside. That means reshaping our belief systems, and beliefs are much harder to change than habits. But the universe is saying that at the end of all of this is some kind of sense of new beginning, like some kind of sense of, like, a new relationship, healthier because of the purity in the White Lotus and the emotional intelligence. It's not here for us yet. I mean, it's not something that, like, is readily available, because it does seem like there is a lot of change that has to happen. We have to get out of this devil energy. This whole top part of the spread looks pretty bad, TBH. Like, it looks pretty bad. But the universe is saying that there is this sense that we want more. And that's good. That is good, because that will motivate us to move out of this devil energy and to grow. Okay, there's the growth card. And grounding. Pisces, we're water signs, and so it's entirely possible that maybe you do feel at home in water. But water always makes me feel more dreamy and less inside myself. Grounding, I always want to go out and take walks in nature. Nature makes me feel grounded. Being in the fresh air, under the shade of the trees, getting that sunlight on my face, getting a shoe or a stone in my shoe, like, whatever. Just being out in nature really does help me. And universe is saying that might help you also get into this sense, like, of knowing that you want a long-term, healthy, emotionally stable and intelligent relationship. And that's fair. Again, I don't do relational readings, but this is all about how you are feeling in this position. And what I'm seeing here is that you are feeling a sense of disappointment. But that maybe the thing that you're disappointed about is this toxic energy around you, and that makes you feel worried. The universe is saying that you shouldn't worry so much, or you shouldn't acknowledge so much of the worry. We should deal with it, definitely figure out how to, like, get this energy out of our lives by being brave and by thinking, we're really curious about this long-term, like, stable. So, like, really focus on that and be brave. But whatever it is, you just have to stop feeling like you're defending it, or like you're the only one taking care of it, or the only one growing it or nurturing it, okay? Because here is a very defensive stance. Pisces, if you need help with this, my email address and my Instagram are in the box below. I'm doing free pre-recorded readings, so if you would like one, go ahead and hit me up. I hope this helps. I hope that we get out of this energy. Have a good day.